Welcome to Woman Things, the podcast, a show dedicated to women who want to connect with their bodies and optimize their health for a more holistic and balanced life. We are your hosts and women's health experts, Cara Moore and Kirsten Humphreys, and we will be taking you on a journey of education and empowerment.
Stay tuned each week while we break down all the hottest topics in women's health today, including food and nutrition, periods, gut and skin health, fertility, and everything in between. You can find us on Instagram at Woman Things, that's woman, WOMXN, and subscribe on your preferred podcast platform to keep up to date with all the latest episode releases. We hope you enjoyed the episode today, and thanks so much for tuning in.
Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of Woman Things, the podcast. Today we have on Billie Forbes from Bound by Bliss. Billie is a life coach and well-being advocate who offers one-to-one and group coaching programs in order to help people achieve a state of bliss. In addition to this, she also sells her own weekly journal collection, and there will be some links posted in the show notes for this episode if you'd like to check it out. For the focus of today's episode, Billie's going to speak to us about all the techniques she uses with her clients in order to improve their well-being, resilience, effectively manage stress, and how to foster a more positive mindset. Before we start off with Billie, we're going to quickly introduce ourselves. So my name is Kirsten. I'm a naturopathic nutritionist and women's health coach, and I help busy women struggling with PMS, hormonal imbalances, and stress manage their symptoms with nutrition, mindfulness techniques, and healthy daily habits so they can live an amazing life. My Instagram is @KirstenHealth, and my website is knhwellness.co.uk. And of course, today I'm joined by the amazing Cara Moore.
Oh my God, do I need this podcast episode today? But thank you, Kirsten. I'm Cara. I'm a clinical nutritionist and natural fertility educator. I've dedicated my online practice to helping those who are suffering with PCOS symptoms gain back control of their bodies and their fertility. You can find me on Instagram at fempowered_health or online at www.fempoweredhealth.com. Yeah, so as I said, Kirsten, I'm super excited for this episode. So let's bring on our guest, Billie. Billie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we're stoked to have you here as well. So to kick things off, we'd love to hear about, a bit about your personal journey and how you got into coaching.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like it all really started back in 2013. So I went through a time where I went through a lot of depression, growing up as a teenager as well, going into my early 20s. I had no self-belief, no confidence, just really hated myself and everything about me. And then in 2013, I was just one day sitting there thinking, do you know what? I actually need to make a change. Enough is enough. And then that's when I started my own journey of self-development, working on myself. And then I actually did launch a positivity blog. So since then, as I've had different experiences, the idea was really festering and festering over the years. And then when COVID and lockdown happened, I thought, I need to create a service that I can put out there in order to help people. So what am I passionate about? And it was really speaking to people and helping people. And then that's when the idea to become a life coach really came to me.
Yeah, I think it's a really important message to share as well, because even with myself, I used to lack a lot of self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, and it is something that doesn't just come, it's something you have to work on, right? So
absolutely. You've got to be committed to working on yourself. You've got to show up for yourself, how you show up 5 days a week for your job. You can't wake up one day and think, I want to be happy, and then that's it. You've got to work on yourself every day. It's a journey, and we're all constantly learning and evolving.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You have to work on your own happiness. It doesn't just come naturally. You have to always work on it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be launching this episode around New Year's. Mm-hmm. So because it's such a hot topic, we wanted to kind of start the episode off with, what do you think of New Year's resolutions?
Cool, I like this. Well, New Year's resolutions, I don't really like the word New Year resolutions because it just reminds me of everyone, you know, saying on January the 1st that they're starting this fitness journey and, you know, everyone's in the gym and they're super packed. And then 3 weeks later, the resolutions are gone. You know, we shouldn't be working. People say New Year, new me. I'd like to say New Year, better me. We're not trying to completely change ourselves. We're just trying to work on ourselves. So it's about setting New Year goals, small goals throughout the months that then lead up to big goals. You know, if you say a New Year's resolution is that I want to lose weight, I want to lose 3 stone this year, and that's all you say, nothing's going to change. But if you sit there in the new year and think, right, I want to work towards being healthier, so I'm going to set small goals throughout the months that I'm going to work to, I'm going to set dates that I'm going to check in with myself, then I feel like, you know, you're changing your lifestyle, you're actually doing small things that are going to impact in a big way, instead of just saying, oh, this is my New Year's resolution, and then that's it. By January 31st, it's forgotten about, and yeah, you're just sort of doing the same thing.
Yeah, setting measurable goals, right? Me and Cara were talking about this yesterday.
Absolutely. I was chatting to a guy the other day and he was like, you know, you want to be part of the 1% club. If you go from 0 and say you're going to reach 100, you're probably going to get to 30%, feel a little bit of resistance, and then maybe give up. But if you say, right, I'm going to go from 0 to 10, and then 10 to 20, and then 20 to 30, you know, you reach your goals. So if you gave 1% every day, at the end of the year, that's 365%. But if you say you're going to go from 0 to 100 on the first day and keep it up, it's a lot harder to keep that going.
Yeah. Do you know Atomic Habits, the book?
I have actually been recommended recently to read it, but I haven't actually read it yet. I've got about 4 books that I'm trying to get through at the minute. But it is actually like top of my list. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, it's good. It talks a lot about building habits and just going 1% better every day rather than what you were saying, trying to jump too far, because often we fail, right? When we give ourselves too big of goals to achieve.
Definitely. And it can be quite overwhelming if you've set yourself this massive goal and you've not thought about any of maybe the small steps to work towards that, and you're just trying to go from here to that goal. It's a bit overwhelming, and I feel like when we feel a bit overwhelmed, it's a lot harder to continue in something. That's when people are most likely to quit or to give up.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of really good advice there already. Thank you so much, Billie. I really liked the statement you made about New Year, better me, because even if things about us do change, we're still going to innately be the same person, and that's what we've got to like get comfortable with and liking as well.
Absolutely. It's not about becoming this new person that isn't you. You know, you're you for a reason. There's no one else is like you, so you want to embrace what makes you you, and then you just want to work on the things that make you a better you.
Yeah, that's a really great message. So let's get into today's topic of the podcast, really. And are you able to kind of define for us, you know, like what stress is, different ways we might perceive stress, and how this affects our mental health?
Yeah, definitely. So to me, stress can be defined as, you know, feeling really overwhelmed, unable to cope with situations, you know, situations that are completely out of our control. And we feel like this immense amount of stress, and it can be physical stress, you know, emotional stress, mental stress. And stress is a bit like a disease, right? Like it's one of the biggest killers. You know, if you're really, really stressed all of the time, then this can release really negative toxins into your body. They could then develop into being ill all the time, which then could develop into big life-threatening illness. So with stress, yeah, you know, everyone faces it, but it's about trying to implement ways in which you can deal with your stress and handle it more, because if you are stressed all the time, then it is going to affect your mental health. If you get into this cycle where you're stressed and then you're not doing anything productive or moving forward, so then you're getting even more stressed about that, and then you're getting stressed about the fact that you're stressed, and then before you know it, you actually feel sick, like you actually feel quite ill, and then you physically can't do anything, and then you're just in this really helpless situation, wondering how you're going to move forward.
I actually know exactly what you mean by that. I've definitely been in that kind of cycle myself as well. So I really resonated with that last bit that you said there.
Yeah, honestly, I've been in that so many times, you know, where I've gotten stressed about a situation, So maybe I've not really progressed that week how I wanted to. And then I'm getting angry to myself and stressed about the fact that I've not done anything. And then I'm getting even more stressed. And then I'm laying in bed.
Watching Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix, like, how am I going to go on? Oh, what am I doing? These are all the things that I hate.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people would familiarize themselves in that as well. I think it's really common. So it's kind of a word I'm seeing more and more often lately, which is resilience, which is kind of counteracting the stress that we hold, right? So can you please define to our listeners what resilience is in case they're not sure?
Yeah, of course. So resilience is being able to deal with life's challenges and adversity. You're going to fall down, but it's about being able to picking yourself back up and carrying on, not letting failures or challenges defeat you. You know, you get that resilience, carry on, and to give something your all and to really believe in your abilities.
Yeah, no, and it's really important for all aspects of your life, right? To learn resilience techniques and behaviors, because everyone's going to fail at some point and everyone's going to need to pick themselves back up. So just like you said, it's something that we really all need to work on.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we all fail and we need to fail at things in life. Otherwise, you're never going to learn from a situation and then you're never going to grow, you know. We need to get out of our comfort zone in order to develop as a person. So everyone is going to come up against failure or some sort of life challenge at some point. So yeah, it is really important about identifying ways that you can help yourself deal with these challenges and be able to pick yourself back up.
We were speaking a little bit last year, or maybe it was this year, but about having big celebrations of our failures. So obviously we're trying to get our businesses up and running off the ground, and there's a lot of stress, a lot of things that you try and sometimes they don't work. And it's like learning to kind of celebrate failing and what the message is or the lesson is that you learn along the way as well. So it's just kind of reframing the way you look at it.
Definitely, that's so important. You know, it's all about changing your perspectives. Like I'm doing a resilience coaching program at the minute, and last week we was actually talking about failures, and I made everyone write down a failure in one column, but then what they learned in the next column, and then we all celebrated that. So it's like we're celebrating what we failed at, because one, it shows that you're passionate and you've took yourself out of your comfort zone, and two, there is always a lesson or something that you can take from a situation. So celebrate that. You've learned something. You know what not to do next time. You know, you've got wisdom or you've developed a skill from that situation. So I don't feel like we as a society should look at failure as a bad thing. It's quite a necessary part of life. You just mentioned, you know, I really think we should celebrate some of our failures. Absolutely.
Cara, I don't know if you remember, but I told someone about our webinar that didn't really go as we wanted to ages ago, and she was like, that's amazing, you know, congratulations. And I was like, okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when I brought that up. But yeah, like just changing my mindset around failing has really helped me.
I think it's one that everyone needs to hear as well, because, you know, you can get so caught up on what you think didn't go right, but if you just change your perspective and look at what you've learned from that situation, then you wouldn't look at it like a bad thing.
Are you able to share with us some of your wisdom about managing stress and building resilience?
Yeah, of course. So build resilience. There's so many different things that go into it. But the first thing I would say is that we are all resilient. Even if you don't think you've got resilience, you have, because I guarantee there's been a day where you've woke up in the morning and you've not wanted to get out of bed, but you have, and you've gone and done what you needed to do. That's resilience. You know, we've all gone through things in life that we've had to overcome. So that is resilience. So first of all, we should all look at ourselves as if we are resilient people and then build upon that. But one thing that I definitely like to advise people to do is to find some positive coping methods that work well with you. So if you do feel like, you know, you're going through a time where you are a bit challenged or you are feeling a bit stressed or a bit overwhelmed, before you even think about trying to deal with that problem, take some time out for you, do some activities that, you know, make you feel good, build up that happiness again, that make you calm. Because then once you've worked on yourself, then you're going to be able to deal with that situation 10 times better, or realise that the situation you were stressing about, it's actually not even that deep. It's actually not really a problem. But in that moment, you know, all these emotions are running, and then you can get a bit clouded judgment. So finding good positive coping strategies are so important, and I think that's really number one on being able to deal with stressful situations.
And it's also too just allowing yourself to have time for fun, right? Because when we are less stressed and having more fun in lives, we're more creative, you get more ideas and all these things that you actually want to come about for yourself sort of just flow more naturally, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like if I looked at myself, say, even literally 6 months ago, I was so focused on every day, right, I need to wake up, do work 10 hours that day. I can't enjoy myself. If I want to watch a film, I can't do that because that's so counterproductive. All I've got to do is work. And then I was finding that no good stuff was happening. There was no opportunities coming my way. I wasn't happy. I was just actually getting stressed about work every day because I was putting in all this work and nothing was going anywhere. But then I decided to take a step back, and my well-being became my priority. So that is every single day without fail, I do something fun for me, whether even if that's just like listening to my favourite songs and dancing around my room. I do that at least once a day. I'll go on a walk, I'll do gratitude, I'll listen to something nice, I schedule time for me. And then since I started doing that and I made well-being a priority, I found that the business opportunities came. The things that I was worrying about before and trying so hard to do, and they weren't, they was all coming to me when I took time out to focus on myself. I was making time for myself to be happy, so then I was releasing good vibes out. So then all the things that I so desperately wanted before, it just started naturally coming to me. Like you said, they just started flowing into my life. So I noticed a huge difference from trying to grind 12 hours a day to actually taking an hour or 2 hours out of the day to make me happy. The difference in what I was achieving and the outcomes, was huge.
Yeah, that's a really important message, and something I agree. In the wellness business, or when you're kind of like, I guess, an entrepreneur, let's say, you feel like you have to give so much and there's not always a lot of return. And especially now with, social media channels and stuff, because it does take a lot of time to plan content and do all these things. And then you're supposed to be an advocate of well-being, and you're not looking after yourself. So it is almost like if you start looking after yourself, other people are going to notice, and be like, okay, this is working and this is something that's effective because I can see that it's working, rather than leading yourself to burnout, essentially.
Definitely. It's so true. It's like, you advise people to spend an hour on yourself in the morning and to do things that make them laugh. But then in fact, you're actually just at your laptop for 12 hours of the day, stressing, drinking about 6 cups of coffee, and you're not taking any of your own advice. And then you're wondering why things aren't working. And then it's like you just said, I can't expect someone to listen to me and take my advice if I'm not even doing that myself. Do you know what I mean? So you are most important. Number one, you've got to make sure you're good, and then you can help others be good through your actual experiences, instead of me just telling people this is what you should do, but then I'm not even doing that myself. And then they can probably look at me and see there's no light in my eye and I'm looking really stressed.
I'm really taking this all in. I'm like, yes, I need to make sure I'm doing this too.
Definitely. I just think as well, as much as we've all got such drive to be successful and to be entrepreneurs and to have our own business, which is all amazing, but we do actually only have one life as well. So if you're not enjoying yourself every day, or doing small things to make you laugh, or spending time with the ones that you love, is that really worth living? Because I don't want to spend 5 years of my life blocking myself away in my room just so that I can grind, and then I might reach the pinnacle of success, but then say I die a year later, I've literally wasted 5 years of my life not making any memories, or not even laughing, or not being happy. So I think it's all about balance between our goals, but also having time for yourself and actually living life.
Yeah, there's a quote, and I'm not sure who from, but it's something that I like to remind myself to kind of take all of that into consideration in my week. And it's that we're human beings, not humans doing.
Yes.
And it's just a really good reminder, not just, always be grinding, always be working, and actually enjoy life as well. And all of those things that come with being a human being.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that quote.
So you've given us some pretty great tips there. What I wanted to sort of ask next was all about having a positive mindset, because you hear a lot of people promoting a positive mindset and saying to, you know, to try and have a more positive mindset, but what does that even mean? Can you explain that?
Yes, having a positive mindset. You know, sometimes when people hear the word or hear someone say, have a positive mindset, they think it means to be happy 100% of the time. And that is just not the case. Of having a positive mindset, you know, it's allowing yourself to feel all the different emotions. I have a really positive mindset, but it doesn't mean that I don't get sad, or I don't cry sometimes, or I don't get stressed. I allow myself to feel all of those emotions. Then having a positive mindset is allowing yourself to feel them, address them, and then move on from them. And, you know, always try and find that silver lining or that positive in the situation. You know, it's all about, having a positive perspective. I still get stressed, but then I'll do my coping strategies and I move on from that stress. And then I don't beat myself up about feeling stressed and thinking, oh, I don't have a positive mindset now. No, allow yourself to feel anything that you're feeling. Try and find the cause of that feeling and then release it and then move on from it. If it's not going to matter in 5 years' time, you don't need to spend 5 hours thinking about it and stressing about it. Just move on from it.
I think it's also kind of like a muscle that you strengthen, right? It might seem really hard at first, but it's something that the more you practice with and the more you work on it, it becomes more easier to sort of recognize the signs, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm thinking this way, and sort of detach yourself from the actual emotion so that you can just observe what's happening rather than judge what's happening. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Like I said, my journey started back in 2013, 2014. And, you know, since then, there's been times where I've not been positive and I've been quite negative. But like you said, you know, you continue to work on yourself. You continue to build that muscle. You continue to practice the things that are going to help you look at things differently and change your perspective. And then over time, you'll realise that you'll still feel negative or still have stress. But the time it takes you to identify that, do the strategy and move on from it gets a lot quicker. So instead of me spending a week being really negative about a situation, I might spend a few hours or a night, but then I'm able to bounce back really quickly and move on because, you know, you've trained the muscle to identify the triggers or the situation. So it is definitely a journey, and it is just one that you have to be really committed to yourself and really patient with yourself as well. It does take time. Yeah, so basically I would just say that you just, like I said earlier, you know, you just need to show up for yourself, and there's different things that you can work on in order to help you get a positive mindset, you know, being grateful, working on your self-belief, working on self-development, you know, read self-development books, fill your mind with positive content instead of negative content, and really just commit that time to yourself, because you can't just flick the switch and then you've gone from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, you know. It takes time, but if you put the effort in, then you will notice the differences and you will be rewarded. Just got to be patient, definitely.
I'm just laughing to myself because Cara can confirm this, but I'm absolutely obsessed with self-development and self-help books. I have like a whole bookshelf of them. And every time I'm like, oh my God, you know, this is so like groundbreaking. And I have about 30 more in my Amazon box all the time. So I remember which ones I want to read. So
I am literally the same, really relate to that. And if ever I feel a bit stressed or down, I just go to the bookshop or the works and get a new book. And then I feel like I've got my life in order because I've got these new self-help books and they just changed my life. But I do really enjoy them because I think it's good to hear loads of different stories and different techniques and different perspectives that work for these different people, and then you can just take loads of information from all of them, and even if it's just one little thing that helps you or one activity or one quote that sticks with you, you know, you're taking in positive content, so definitely going to benefit you.
Do you have any particular books that come to mind?
Yeah, so I really like 5am Club. I really enjoyed that book, and I felt like it really helped me to see the importance of good morning routine. You know, how you set yourself up in the morning is how you're going to prepare yourself for the rest of the day. So that was a really good one. What else have I enjoyed? I liked Happy Sexy Millionaire. I just read that recently.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's by Stephen Bartlett, and basically it's about how when he was younger, he wanted to be a happy, sexy millionaire. And then he was like homeless at 18 and he spent all these years grinding. And then him and his partner, their company was made public for like hundreds of millions. But it was a really anticlimax moment. And then they both realised that in these 5 years of working 12 hours a day and cutting themselves off from their family and avoiding their well-being, that they'd both come really depressed. They was experiencing panic attacks. One of them had become like an alcoholic. So he really highlights the importance of your well-being and how, you know, you can have all of this money in the world, but if you're not happy and you're not taking care of your well-being, it means nothing. So I found that a really good read. Yeah, what about you guys? What's one of your good self-help books? Maybe I can add some to my list.
Oh, Kirsten's going to have hundreds. I don't read that many self-help books, to be honest. I don't mind them every now and again, but I think it's like what you said, you know, sometimes I'll take a little bit away from it, but sometimes when this is me, myself, when I'm constantly reading self-help books, it's just a reminder or a bit of a pressure about how much I need to improve. So I kind of like to give myself a little bit of a break in between them, enough time to like kind of process what I've read and take things on. So yeah, I don't read that many of them, to be completely honest, but I do actually have the 5 a.m. Club. Yeah, I got it like maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it was on special in iBooks, so I downloaded it. So I might give that one a read next.
Yeah, because you know what as well I like about that one is I can't read self-help books 24/7. I do like to read stories as well and other types of books. And that one, it gives you all of the information in like a really good story.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like it's just like informative and do this, do that. It teaches you lessons within a story, which I really enjoyed. And so does The Celestine Prophecy. That is actually another really good book that I read, which is all about a story, but then the message that you get within the story is really nice.
Nice. Actually, in saying that as well, I did pick up Chloe Brotheridge's The Confidence Solution from the library yesterday by recommendation from Kirsten. So I am excited to get into that as well. There's 2 self-help books when I said I don't read any. So
yeah, you've actually got a couple there waiting to be read.
Kirsten?
I mean, yeah, I've had loads. I've had like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Atomic Habits, Think and Grow Rich. I don't know. I have literally like 30 of them. I have all of Chloe Brotheridge's books. And I really, really like Think and Grow Rich because it's not just about growing rich. But like you said, what I take out of them is I always take like little tips, you know? So like out of the Atomic Habits, I'm, you know, focus on getting the 1% better. Or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is really, you know, sort of about he made a comment about how like, making a decision and just deciding that was going to be it really kind of changed his life, because always the overthinking and the indecision is what was stressing him out the most. And I think that's something I struggle with. So, and then Think and Grow Rich, you know, is talking about values and all that kind of stuff. So foster a more like positive and resilient mindset. And like you said, practicing gratitude as well. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, Billie, are you able to tell us in what capacity you work with people at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. So all different types really. So I'm currently working with a business, so I work with their staff. So working with their staff, we're on a resilience program with them. Mm-hmm. So, you know, being resilient, that affects every area of your life, you know, your health, your well-being, business. It can improve all areas. So I do that with them at the minute. I'm working with a group of people who have learning difficulties, all different ends of the spectrum. And yeah, so, you know, well-being is important for everyone. So I'm on a Journey to Bliss program with them, so they can just take joy from the little things in life, you know, whatever their limitations are, to celebrate them, because that makes us unique. And then I'm currently working with a college as well. I'm designing several different programs for them in terms of helping the students find balance between personal life and work. You know, I'm trying to help a group of students who might not usually go on to higher education, so helping them with their goal setting, their self-belief and their confidence, to know that if they want to go on to higher education, they can. Whatever they want to do, they can achieve it. So the courses can just really be tailored for anyone and everyone. you know, we need programs like this in all aspects of our life, whether it's business, personal, well-being, educational groups, and I also do one-to-one as well.
Lovely. And if any of this has sparked interest for our listeners and they would like to, you know, hear more about you and what you're offering and work with you one-on-one, perhaps, where can they find you?
So they can find me on Instagram. It's at Bound by Bliss and then an underscore. I've also got a Facebook page, which is Bound by Bliss, and I'm on LinkedIn as Bound by Bliss. I am developing a website at the minute, which has took like a lot longer than anticipated. But hopefully, you know, I've had to prioritise other things, but that should be going live by the end of the year. But I'm really, really active on Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn. So you can definitely look out for me on there. You know, we explain about all of our services. I show what I do. We've got loads of cool like quotes and like advice on there, so yeah, check us out on them definitely.
Amazing. And I did see you have, is it a journal or journaling prompts that are available to buy?
Yeah, so I actually have a weekly journal that includes a bit of everything: goal setting, gratitude lists on there, daily reflections, manifestations, and journal prompts. So it's really a journal to get you to bliss, really. A whole week wellbeing journal that focuses on every different aspect. So yeah, if you're interested, they are on sale at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds great. There's nothing like getting a new diary or a new journal to have a fresh start.
Absolutely. I love a journal. Those and books, I just constantly buy new ones, and I really feel like I've got my life together when I buy a new journal or book.
Exactly the same.
Literally, like once a week I go into this same shop, and every week they're like, "You're not back again," and I'm like, yeah, guilty.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Billie, and all of that information that you've just shared about where people can find you, we will be putting in our show notes.
So thank you so much for having me. I've really, really enjoyed it. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to our show today. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you subscribe, let us know what you thought in the comments, and share it with all the important women in your life. There are plenty more of these episodes to come, so please visit our website to stay in the know. You will find us at womanthings.com. That's WOMXN. Much love, Kirsten and Cara.
The information contained in this podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, or replace the advice of your healthcare practitioner. Always consult with a qualified health professional if you have a pre-existing health condition or are currently taking any medications before making any changes to your diet or lifestyle.